Okay, this is the practice quiz for Chapter 12, Quiz 2. I'm going to go through these quickly. So number 1, you have like denominators. You're going to take the tops and subtract them. Okay, you have minus and minus 8, so that's plus. So the answer should be negative 5x plus 8, which is answer A. Moving on to number 2. You have double bubble here, plus minus. Why? Because there's a subtraction and then a y squared. You're going to get y plus 4, y minus 4, and you can cancel. So the plus 4's cancel. But also the y's cancel. So you're left with y minus 4 on top and a 3 on top up here and a negative 2 on the bottom. It can be written that way, which is one of the answers. It is answer D. Correct? Okay. Moving on to number 3. The short answers. We're going to divide x minus 2 into, and on the quiz you have to write all your work, minus 10. Okay, we're going to divide it into there. You look into the first one and you say, what times x is 3x to the 4th? Well, that's 3x to the 3rd. You multiply down through, and you multiply both things. So we get 3x to the 4th. But then when I do 3x times negative 2, I get negative 6x to the 3rd. Then I subtract. When I subtract, this is a 0. This subtraction is really 3x to the 3rd. Be careful. Bring the rest of it down. Moving on again to the first term in each one. I need this x here to turn into 3x squared or cubed. So I'm going to multiply it by positive 3x squared. When I multiply it, I get 3x cubed and negative 6x squared. Now be careful here. We're going to subtract. These two terms are alike. That's 0. However, these two terms are not alike. So it comes down and we're still subtracting. So this becomes 6x squared because a negative and a negative is a positive. So it's positive 6x squared minus 6x minus 10. So be careful there. Now we need to look at, again, the first term in each one. So this needs to be, I need a 6 and I need an x. And I multiply it through. When I multiply it through by both things, again, getting messy here, 6x squared plus 12, I'm sorry, minus 12x, sorry. That's minus 12x. 6x squared minus 12x. And then we're going to subtract again. We subtract, again, this is minus a negative, so this becomes a positive, and we get 6x minus 10. Moving along here. To get an x to turn into a 6, we multiply by 6. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Looks like we're going to have a remainder. Okay, we subtract here. This becomes a positive 12. So we're going to have a remainder of 2. Then we take our answer, and we'll group it up this way. Our answer is 3x to the 3rd plus 3x squared plus 6x plus 6. Remainder of 2 over the x minus 2. Okay, so looking at the next question. Let's make another page for this. This question here. You're going to have to factor to get your answers here. So if we look at this question here, I see a double and I'm seeing double. I'm seeing an x in here and an x in here. So that's going to translate down here to an x on the outside, and left behind is this on the inside. On this term here, I see a triple, and we do the triple starts with t, 2 parentheses. Okay, so we're doing that. factors of negative 12 that add up to negative 1, I'm thinking 4 and 3. And the 4 has to be negative, 3 is positive. Now over here, we need to change this to multiplication and flip the second fraction. So it's going to be x minus 4 over x plus 5. That's convenient because, oops, I missed an x here, sorry. That's convenient because the x minus 4 now cancels with this x minus 4. And this cancels with this, so my final answer is x over x plus 5. Okay, moving on to number 5. Divide. Okay, now you could use long division with this, or you could do the method I taught you. So we could do both methods here. Either method will work. One thing you want to do is divide each one by this. Okay, this is one method. And so this no longer is here. All right, then we just cancel. 2 into negative 6 is negative 3. 2 m's on the bottom versus 8 on top are only going to cancel 2 of the m's out on top, so you're still left with 6 on top. The minus sign for the next one stays. 2 goes into 12 6 times. M7 and M2 cancel to M5. And then 2 goes into 8 4 times. M squared into M4. Again, 4 m's on top, 2 on the bottom. 2 of them canceled, leaving m squared on top. Okay, you could do long division, but it would take a little bit longer to do. So I say to myself, what times this equals this? Well, it's negative 3m to the, and I need 8, so I got to have a 6 here. Okay, so that comes down here, and that cancels, and you have 0. Then you go to the next one. What times this is this? Well, it's negative 6m, and I need 7, and I have 2, so I got to put a 5 there. And then the last one, 2 to get 8 is 4. M squared to get m4 is m squared, and we have the same answer as before. Moving on to the next question, which is the area of the rectangle question. Okay, this is just a division question, so don't fret over this. You have the area, which is base times height, or length times width in this case. Okay, and they give you the length, and they give you the length and the area, so you got to divide to get your answer. So x minus 2 into x cubed plus x squared minus 7x plus 2. Now, if you want to try it on your own, stop the video or keep watching if you're not sure. So I look at x, and how do I make it an x cubed? I put it x squared times it. Then I multiply both terms, and you do this every time. X cubed, negative 2x squared. We're going to subtract. We're going to get a 0 here. And again, beware, this turns into a positive 2, so you're really getting a 3x squared. And then bring the rest down. Okay, so now we're working on the next term, which is the 3x. So this is going to be 3x squared. So in order to get that, I get a 3x times this. Bring this over and to both things. 3x squared minus 6x. We're going to subtract. When we subtract, we have the 0. Again, we're doing the same thing over and over again. This is a plus. This becomes negative 2x plus 2. Kind of happy because these two match. So chances are my answer is just going to need one term, and it is. I need to make a negative 2x, so I put a negative 2 here. When I multiply by that, that gives me my negative 2x. When I multiply times that, oh, I get a 4. Well, I guess it's not so nice. Plus 4. And then when I subtract, I get, turns into a negative 2. Okay, I see my mistake. I accidentally added this and got negative 2. That is incorrect. Okay, So the sky is not falling, Chicken Little, but we just subtracted wrong. So instead, let's subtract right. Negative 7x minus a minus is plus, so it's minus x plus 2. That makes a lot more sense because now I can multiply by, instead of 2, I'm going to multiply by not a negative, but negative 1. So that makes, so when I do that multiplication, again, I apologize for that. I got negative x plus 2. I'm happy because there is no remainder. So my answer is x squared plus 3x minus 1. Okay, now question number 7. Okay, 7 says add or subtract. Okay, so let's look at 7. Okay. It says add or subtract. So I got to remember common denominators. These denominators are common. Okay, so we just need to subtract x minus 7 over x squared minus 49. Okay. However, you have to realize that this is double bubble. Double bubble plus minus gives us this combination on the bottom, which is good because it will, this x minus 7 will cancel, and we're going to leave a 1 behind, and our answer is going to be 1 over x plus 7. So be careful with that one. Make sure you continue to factor as you're going. Okay, now we have number 8. Okay, and again, it's subtracting. Okay, I'm probably going to make this a bonus question if I make it for the test, because we didn't go over this method, but we did do a partial of it. We said multiply these up. So we're going to have 2x plus 3 times x plus 2. And then we multiply this up, x minus 4 minus x minus 4, x minus 5. All over x minus 4, x plus 2. Now this is a little bit difficult question because you need to FOIL this out. So I'm going to FOIL this out or use the box method. Either method is okay. So I'm going to get 2x squared, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Now I'm going to do 3 times x is 3x, and 2x times 2 is 4x. Okay, and that's all plus. Then over here we still have this minus sign. We're going to multiply this out. X squared, negative 4x, negative 5x, and negative 4 times 5 is positive 20. Now the trick to this one is this negative needs to go to every one. So so I go add the opposite, add the opposite, add the opposite, add the opposite. So the top now becomes this really ugly looking question. But hopefully it'll fall apart. So 2x minus x squared is just x squared. 3x and 4x is 7x. And another 4x and a 5x would be 16x. So these are all gone. And then 20 and 6 is 26. Now so now you still got to be careful here. You got factors of 26 that add up to 16 are not available because 2 and 13 are not available. Sorry, another mistake here. This should be a minus 20. I didn't see that red. I didn't see that red minus sign. So this should be a minus 14. Either way, this top is not factorable. So this is your final answer. That's a minus sign right there. Sorry about that, right? Okay, looking at number 9. Let's do that one right here. We're going to subtract. So 6x, I'm sorry, the denominators are the same. We're going to subtract. 6x minus 7x is negative x. Negative 1 minus a minus 6 is going to be plus 5. Now this is an answer, but it's not simplified. If we look at this right here, we have to take out a negative 1. And again, this is another difficult question. When I take that negative 1 out, I got x minus 5. You should already be saying to yourself, this is double bubble. Okay? Double bubble plus minus x plus 5, x minus 5 these cancel, and my final answer is negative 1 over x plus 5. So that involves a lot of skills. You should be able to do that one, however. So if you pull a negative 1 out of x and put it out front, and you pull a negative 1 out of 5 and put that out front, the negative x becomes x, and the positive 5 becomes negative 5. And that adjusts so you can cancel with the bottom double bubble. Okay, on to number 10. 10, I look at it, looks a little scary, but let's factor. I see x's and everything. So the bottom I see double. What am I seeing double? I'm seeing double of x to the 6. So this is the bottom. So that gives me a 1 minus 5x, because I took 6 of the x's out and I left 1 behind. The top is still this, which is nice, because then I can cancel the x to the 6 out, and my answer would be negative 6 over 1 minus 5x. Now that's an answer. Or you could multiply the top and bottom by negative 1, and you would get 6 over 5x minus 1. Either answer is correct. Okay, hopefully on number 11 you'll be able to attack it. And triple starts with t, 2 parentheses. I'm splitting up negative 8 to add up to 2. I'm thinking 4 and 2. And the 4 has to be positive, so x plus 4, x minus 2 in order to get a 2 there. And then for the negative 24 to add up to negative 2, I'm thinking 6 and 4, and the 6 would have to be negative. Okay, these cancel, and there's your answer, x minus 2 over x minus 6. Okay, do not cancel those 2's or those x's in this one. Number 12, we're going to sit right here and do number 12. I see double here. I see 2's. So x minus 2. And on the bottom, I pull the 2 out. X plus 3. These cancel. And this is my final answer. Okay, quickly going through the functions. When you have the double like that, that's a rational function. Okay, think of a rat. There's 2 rat tails. This one here is a square root function. We call that a radical, because there's a radical there. And the shape of the function is like the radical sign, which would be a dot with a little tail off of it. Okay, this is a quadratic. It's squared, and we know because there's a u here, we have a happy face parabola. The next one has an absolute value sign in it. We call that absolute value. And we know the shape is a V because there's a V in value, just like there's a U in quadratic. Okay, moving on to the last question on the practice quiz. I'm looking at this thing. So I have double bubble because it's minus x squared minus a perfect squared. Okay, here I have the 5-step long method for here. Same thing here, and don't forget to multiply and flip. So we have a lot to do on this one. So let's start with the easiest one, which would be x plus 4, x minus 4, x plus 4, and that's just begotten by square rooting both sides. Okay, we know this x plus 4 is going to go to the bottom because we have to multiply and flip. Now we just need to deal with these 2 things here. Okay, so long method, 2 times 15 is 30. Factors of 30 that add up to 7. I'm sorry, negative 7. I'm sorry, also it's negative 30. You're right. Negative 30 add up to negative 7. 6 and 5, no. 2 and 15, hold on, I'm stumped here. 3 times 2 is 10 and 3. Silly rabbit. 10 and 3, and the 10 has to be negative. Now, what do you do with that? You do not go right to here. You have to take that and take the 10, put it there, and the 3, put it there. So this here was negative 7x, but now we changed it to this. So now it's just a matter of grouping, seeing double. I see double here with the 2, and I see double with the x, so 2x comes out. X minus 5. I see double here with just the 3, not with the x. X minus 5. So in the parentheses here go the double, x minus 5, and the leftover, that should be a plus 3, 2x plus 3. Okay, now let's move over to the other side, and we're going to have 4 times 10, which is 40. That has to add up to negative 22. 40, that adds up to negative 22. Oh, 2 and 20. Silly rabbit. Negative 2, negative 20. Okay. So we're going to rewrite this problem over here. Sorry for the mess, but I'm going to rush through this. 4x squared minus, instead of 22x, we're going to write negative 2x. I'm sorry. Instead of negative 22x, we're going to write negative 2x. That's this one. And negative 20x plus 10. Okay, now this factor by grouping. I see a 2 in each one and an x in each one, 2x. Left behind is 2x minus 1. I see a 10 in each one here and a negative. Let's do a negative 10. And I'm going to get 2x minus 1. That's a little tricky. So 2x minus 1 is 1, and 2x minus 10 is the other. Okay? That's pretty ugly. That's a lot of work for just canceling that out, unless we made a mistake. Yeah, it looks like I made a mistake somewhere, so I'm running through this very quickly, so let me check and see if I made a mistake. 2x, 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 2x minus 1, negative 10, 2x minus 1, 2x minus 10. Oh, I see my mistake. Silly rabbit. I could take a 2 out of here, and that turns into x minus 5. So I didn't make a mistake. I just didn't factor completely. That's going to cancel with this x minus 5. So then we have to summarize our answer. Our answer summary is 2x minus 1 times x minus 4, and then that answer times 2 all over 2x plus 3. Now you're going to have to FOIL this out. And that's not drawn right. I'm going to have to FOIL it out or box method out and then multiply that answer by 2. Let me do that really quick. So if I do box method, 2x minus 1, x minus 4. So we got 2x squared, negative 8x, negative x, positive 4. And then, okay, so that's going to be 2x squared. These two are going to turn into negative 9x plus 4. And then that answer has to be multiplied by 2 over 2x plus 3. And that's going to hopefully get us the answer on the sheet, which should be 4x squared minus 18x. Again, I'm distributing this 2 plus 8 all over 2x plus 3.